A couple of days ago, I was vigorously tearing up my closet looking for a sock I could wear to the store and forgot to clean up. When I got home the next week, I noticed 2 discarded old game boxes on my floor. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Sonic Heroes. At that very moment, something awakened inside of me. I think I'm in love with Knuckles. Wait. Shit, wrong script. One of these box arts I love and one I hate. Viciously. But let's look on the bright side today. What makes a good box art? Hell if I know, but I know one when I see one. Breath of the Wild is a common point of reference. A gorgeous work of art that inspires and elevates the sense of adventure. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the North American version or the other one. North America's better. This right here is the ideal box art. So is Legends of Arceus by extension. They're pieces of artwork that could sell the games themselves. On the contrary, if I were to show Frogger the Great Quest to a group of starving children, they'd die instantly. For a long time, box art was absolutely essential to selling a game. A child in the 80s or 90s wouldn't have had access to anything. So being able to portray what a game was about while also selling it to you was the key. Final Fantasy VII has name recognition, an eye-catching 3D render design, and a big ol' sword. This is something a 10-year-old would see and say, I want to play this. Mother, take out a third mortgage. On the flip side, Star Ocean The Second Story was the go-to game for fans of the color purple. I'd say that most box art is effective. After all, these are professional pieces of work. If it doesn't catch your eye, it's bound to catch someone else's. Sometimes, though, a piece of cover art goes above and beyond to become instantly recognizable and widely adored, going far past what was ever necessary. Case in point, any Kingdom Hearts game. KH1 is a personal favorite because it somehow manages to take anime protagonists A, B, and C, set them next to Donald the fucking Duck, and make it go hard as hell. Feel free to screenshot. One box art I've always really appreciated was Klonoa 2 Lunatea's Veil. It's nothing groundbreaking or spectacular, but it's just dope as hell. Of course I want to play as this little dude. He kinda looks like a Sonic character, and you already know how I feel about them. Octopath Traveler did something absolutely insane with its art. Since that game doesn't have a dedicated singular protagonist, they included all 8 characters on the front, but allowed you to get high-quality scans of specific characters on My Nintendo. You could then print these out and have your favorite character prominently portrayed on the box. Personally, I went with my boy Therion. God, everything in this game is just gorgeous. I generally prefer my box arts to be done in good old 2D, but that doesn't mean that 3D renders can't be just as impactful or artistic. I absolutely love Judgment's box art. The explosive effect of the glass coming at you makes the whole thing feel hostile, like he's gonna come out of the game and beat the shit out of me himself. Mario Kart 8 had a pretty good box art, you know, decent layout, high energy, but 8 Deluxe? Oh yeah, baby. Prominently showing off the DLC characters and the brand new Inkling all riding on the final stage of the base game really hammers it in that this is a victory lap. Here, take the best Mario Kart game. Here, take it again. Take 40 million of them. Star Wars Battlefront. I love this art. The blue sky gradually becoming bleak as it's overcome by burning lava and gunfire from fighter ships. The intensely threatening aura from the AT-AT and the unwavering confidence from the one rebel fighter. It's just that one meme. Millennials who use TikTok and smoke crack. Guy who likes Octopath Traveler. Reoccurring designs within the series is something you'll see a lot too. The Tales of franchise does this thing where they'll just throw characters on the box and do nothing else. I kinda hate it. Xenoblade Chronicles does this too, however there's actual art this time. A sword, some junk parts, and some distant trees populate what is otherwise a completely empty field. The field itself beginning to turn up as it reaches the corners of the box. And of course we can't forget about the massive monster devouring the entire skyline, standing dauntless over everything we can see. Talk about foreboding. This box art is so good, beautifully silent, and at the same time overwhelmingly threatening. They reused this in both re-releases, as they should have. Hell, they reused it in the sequels. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, same field with the slight incline in the edges. However, there are actual characters present this time. Once again, we have a foreboding monster in the sky, however, it doesn't look like it wants to eat us this time, so that's nice. This is a very effective template to create a memorable and effective series of box arts. So it makes sense they're doing it for a third time with Xenoblade 3. Xenoblade X is the only one that didn't do this, and that's the real reason why it's never getting re-released. Look what they did with the original Xenoblade Wii disc. This is so creative. I want to have sex with it. I also appreciate when games go really hard on the stylization and personality to create something that sells a tone perfectly. Check out this funny game, Super Mario Sluggers. Fun baseball action with your favorite characters. Super Mario Strikers, intense, hate-filled action where you kill your opponents and beat your wife. Jokes aside, this is one of the most intense cover arts I've ever seen, and it has fucking Mario on it. Strikers Charge did this as well, and it's equally as sick. please don't suck. Grandia 2 on the good old PlayStation 2 was a massive tonal shift from the first title, and the box art perfectly displays that darker feel. Grandia 2 is genuinely one of the most miserable games I've ever experienced, not because it's bad, it's just miserable. And this art absolutely sells that while also repping major badass vibes. But what about the handheld side of things? Generally, handheld video game boxes are smaller. That's even the case with the Switch, but I don't consider that a primarily handheld console, so piss off, contrarians. When you have about half of the standard box art real estate to work with, you still need to make sure that the art you design is able to tell consumers everything they need to know, while also staying relatively small, while also being easy to read. And you'd be hard-pressed to find me not taking a chance to gush about Star Ocean. The PSP versions of Star Ocean First Departure and Second Evolution come together to create a single larger piece of art. This is so above and beyond what is necessary, but it is so cool, especially when you consider these games were not released at the same time. Staying on the PSP here, Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions has one of my favorite box arts of all time. The large ensemble cast of characters with cool dynamic posing, the blue and red gradient. Oh, good heavens. I included this thing in my final project for a graphic design college course, and I'm pretty sure I got a 100. Jumping over to the 3DS here, I've always had a soft spot for the art style of Fire Emblem Echoes, and this extends to the cover art. It's not particularly groundbreaking, but the posing of Alm and Celica is really good symbolism. Two lost lovers who have found themselves on different sides of a conflict. Spirits who want to be close but are moving in two different directions. God, this game desperately needs a re-release. It's so good. Bravely Default plays things incredibly simple, which is something that you see a lot of times with Final Fantasy and its spin-offs. But if you've played this game, you know why this shit is funny. Bravely Second did pretty much the same thing, but I gotta commend this piece of character art. It is so damn cool. Have you ever heard of the classic JRPG Secret of Mana? Well, one of the future spin-offs was Children of Mana on the DS, and the Japanese and UK box art is sick as hell. For a game that proudly features 4 different protagonists and is themed around co-op, why did they only put 2 of them on the North American box? This is way uglier by comparison. At some point, I'm going to get my hands on one of those UK copies. I just love this game, even if it is offensively average. You know, regional box arts are also pretty interesting. It's interesting to see how companies brand different games to different audiences. That is a topic for another time though. At the time of reading this, it is 2022, and I feel that box arts go really unappreciated nowadays. We no longer need them to convince us into buying a game. We have the internet. Hell, we saw 90% of Kingdom Hearts 3 before it even hit the shelves. However, to people like me, the kind of person that loves to fill a shelf and exclusively buys their full-price games on discs, a game's box art can mean a lot more. It's like a stamp on an envelope, a little cherry on top of a neatly placed package. Borderline superfluous, but makes things just a bit sweeter. Also, Skyrim tells us that JoJo fans are virgins, so it's gotta be true, right?